Welcome, Hadia.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to your presentation.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. Just give me 1 minute. I'm going to turn my camera on in like a minute.
Sure, take your time. Welcome, everybody. We're going to give it just a few more minutes to allow some more participants in, but we will be getting started soon, and we're so glad to have you all here today.
Okay, so Abhishek, you wanna start?
Yeah. Hi guys, welcome all to the Eid al-Adha celebration. Today we have two videos and many guest speakers to talk about and introduce the Eid al-Adha celebration. And I'd like to hand it off to Naufal to start the video.
Okay, well, first off,
Yeah,
we're gonna introduce ourselves as hosts. So I'm the co-host. My name is Naufal Murtadza, and I'm a third year civil engineering student at our campus. And this is my friend Abhishek. You wanna introduce yourself?
I'm Abhishek, and I am a mechanical engineering student in second year. And yeah.
Okay, thank you, Abhishek. So we have several wonderful speakers. So first, we would like to introduce Professor Faiza Abbas.
Hi, I'm Professor Faiza Abbas, and I'm a professor in the School of Business here at Penn State Harrisburg. I'm excited to join and listen to all of you about the Eid al-Adha celebration. And, this is like, I like to attend these global ambassador programs. I've attended several when Anna was here and when she conducted it and been a part of many. So it's always been a good opportunity. So thank you for having me. And I will share with you some of the things concerning this celebration that we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Abbas. We also have a representative from MSA, Muslim Student Association, Hadia. Hadia, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Hadia. I am a senior at Penn State Harrisburg. I'm studying political science and international relations. I'm minoring in sociology. And I just became the MSA president this semester, and I'm excited to work with so many different people on campus this semester.
Thank you, Hadia. And we have several student representatives from different countries. First off, is from Malaysia. Ayunni, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, my name is Ayunni. I'm from Malaysia. I'm a sophomore majoring in material science and engineering. I hope everyone have a good time and thank you for coming.
Thank you, Ayunni. Next is our student from Pakistan. We have Nauman.
Hi, my name is Nauman, and I'm a junior and I'm majoring in marketing and management. So I hope you guys have a great time.
Thank you, Nauman. And for myself, I'll also be presenting a country I lived before, which is Russia, and tell you stories about how it was the holiday celebrated in Russia. And last off, we're gonna have a Q&A session before closing. So before we start, we have a small 1-minute video to explain what Eid al-Adha is. So hope you guys can see this. Okay, so we have our first speaker, which is our Professor Faiza Abbas, and she's gonna explain the background and history about Eid al-Adha. So I will stop screen sharing and she will screen share.
All right, thank you, Naufal. And I will just share my screen in a moment, and there's a brief presentation. Okay, so the festival of Eid al-Adha, or as we call it in Pakistan, which is where I was born and raised, it's called Eid al-Adha with a Z. So because in Arabic language or in Arabic pronunciation, it's the D, but in our like local lingo, we pronounce the D as a Z. So Eid al-Adha, the Muslim festival, we'll be talking about a little bit about the background of Eid al-Adha and where this originated and what is the tradition behind it. So Eid is what we call in English, we call it a feast. So the meaning of Eid is feast, and al is of, and Adha stands for sacrifice. So the feast of sacrifice, this is the meaning of the term Eid al-Adha. This, as the tradition, Islamic tradition goes, and I will give you a background of the history, is based on the devotion of Abraham and the saving of Ishmael. So in Arabic text, we call Ibrahim and Ismail. So those are the two pronunciations I will be referring to. So the prophet Abraham dreamt that God asked him to show allegiance to Islam by what he loved most, by sacrificing what he loves the most. And that, of course, when Abraham thought about it, that was his son Ishmael or Ismail. He was very confused at this point, but you know that he had seen in his dream that Allah ordered him, or God ordered him to do that. So he narrated this dream to his son Ishmael, and Ishmael was such a obedient son that he told his father that do as you are commanded, and God willing, you will find me steadfast. So go ahead with your sacrifice if this is what God has asked you to do. So saying that, Abraham brought his son in an open area, but the moments before he was about to sacrifice his son, God liked his devotion so much that he sent a goat down to sacrifice. And he said that he was just testing Abraham's faith, and it was proven that he's devoted to God. So the goat was sacrificed instead of Ishmael. Now, that was the background and some of the festivities associated with this occasion and this celebration that we do. It is celebrated on the lunar Islamic month of Zil Hajj, as we call it, or Dhul Hajj, as we call it in Arabic. It's celebrated for like 3 days, starting the evening of the 10th and then 11th, 12th, and 13th day of the last month of the lunar calendar, which is the month of Dhul Hajj. So in this month, there is a pilgrimage made by people, the Muslim people who can afford it. And they make this pilgrimage to Mecca, Saudi Arabia, Makkah as we call it, Makkah, Saudi Arabia. And this is a pilgrimage to the holy city and to the shrine that's there. During this, Muslims dress up in their nicest clothing and go to a mosque for the morning prayers. So after Hajj is performed, which is on the 10th of that month, that is when the sacrifice takes place, and everybody sacrifices either a goat or a camel or a cow in the name of God. And the morning starts with, typically it starts with people going to the mosque for the morning prayers. And then after the morning prayers, the friends and families get together to celebrate throughout the day and also in the evening. So this sacrifice can be done in any of those 3 days, which are the Eid days. And how you offer it is that, you know, you sacrifice a lamb, a goat, or a camel in the name of God, and the meat is then distributed. So you have to, like, as is required, you have to make 3 portions of that meat, 3 equal portions. 1 portion you distribute to those who cannot afford to sacrifice, the poor. The second portion to your relatives and family, and the third you can keep for yourself. So in all this distribution, the thing that is to be seen is the giving aspect, or, you know, the charitable aspect and the building of connections that Islam as a religion bases itself on. So giving to those who cannot afford, those who are poor, and those who are not like, you know, others as far as the income distribution goes and all. And then to your relatives, because your friends and relatives and family are the ones that you are supposed to have good communication, good connections with. And then you can keep 1 part for yourself and your family and enjoy that meat. So another thing that is usually done is what we call Eid, which is a gift which the elders of the family give to the kids or to the younger children, or to younger people who are celebrating Eid. And what is Eid? It's like a gift of money. So you typically here in the US, we give like dollar bills, or, you know, whatever you find, like a $20 bill, or however much you want to give to the kids or anybody else younger than you who's celebrating it. Okay, a little bit about the pilgrimage that leads to this celebration. So this pilgrimage, the Hajj pilgrimage, occurring on the 10th of the month, hundreds of thousands of Muslims gather in Saudi Arabia, in Makkah in Saudi Arabia, in a place called Khana Kaaba, which is the house of God, and they perform this pilgrimage. Now, typically there are a lot of people, like the stats for 2019 say that 2 million people in 2019 performed this pilgrimage. This number has gone down because of reasons that, the COVID social distancing requirements. So this year, it started with only 1,000 people due to social distancing practices. So this is the pilgrimage that precedes the celebration. So after this pilgrimage, the celebration of Eid occurs. Now, the clothing, and I've taken pictures from different parts of the world and how they dress up for the Eid occasion. They dress up in their best clothes. In Pakistan, we wear what is called as salwar kameez. This is a typical outfit that we don and make ourselves up and, look good and all that. So these are some of the dresses that are worn by people around the world, just to give you an idea of what like the celebration looks like. And these are some. So you see like, this color and embroidered and all those kind of stuff. And then of course, as with every festival everywhere in the world, it's one that is based on food, right? And especially with sacrificing and the meat aspect of it, food is a very important part. And mostly the dishes that are made are the ones that are made with meat, but there are other things as well. There are just, salads and desserts and all other kinds. So these are some of the typical dishes that we have as a part of the Eid celebration. So you see, this is the dessert table, a typical dessert table. And this is it. So I hope that you enjoyed it and you got a little introduction with what the festival is all about and how we do different things. And on to the next speaker now. So I'll stop the screen share. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to bring this to you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor, for your wonderful presentation. And thank you for making time even through your hectic schedule and we really appreciate that.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Hadia from the Muslim Students Association, and she would like to speak on the history and the background of
Hi, do you want me to share my screen or do you have the presentation of?
We should have the presentation up. You could.
Yeah, I have the presentation. Can you
just
see
skip
my
to
screen?
Yeah, I think it's slide 4 is where I'm. Yep. Okay, so as Professor Abbas mentioned most of what we do during Eid and what Eid al-Adha is about, I'm just going to talk about the charity and communal part of it a little more. So basically what Muslims do around the world, we perform Eid Salah in the morning. Most families go to their local masjids to pray. And then after that, people go to, to their friends' houses or, just for picnics or whatever they have planned for today. One of the most important aspects of Eid al-Adha is charity and why we sacrifice the animal that we do. So it's not just to do it for the sake of it. The most important thing about Eid is to give charity and give that meat away to people. You can't just keep all of it to yourself or your family. It's not even going to count as sacrifice if people do that. And some of the lucky ones are going to be performing Hajj. So there is a way of how to distribute the meat. I know Professor Abbas talked about it. We're just going to go a little bit more in detail. So Muslims all around the world who are financially able to afford the meat for sacrifice on Eid al-Adha, that's one of the most important thing about it is that you have to be financially able to do it. It's not something that's mandatory. It's not for people who don't have the financial means to do so. So it's only for people. It's not a burden. Nothing in Islam is supposed to put a burden on people. So if people are not financially able to do it, they're not it's totally fine to not do it. And then the distribution, 1/3 of the meat is to poor people, and then you could keep 1/3 of the meat to your family or relatives, and then you can also keep the last part of the meat to your own family. Okay, and some of the things that Muslims typically do on the day of Eid, showering on Eid day, that's one of the first things. Wearing our cleanest, nicest clothes on for Eid prayer. Most people make new clothes, which is very exciting. That's my favorite part of it. Just making new clothes, you know, shopping and all that. One of the other things is taking 2 different routes from to and from Eid prayers, or if people are performing the Salah in the masjid, it's good to take 2 different routes to go to the masjid and then come back to your houses. And we also offer the Eid prayer in congregations. You can't really pray the Eid prayer at your house, so it has to be with other people, and most typically in the masjid. After Eid, we congratulate everyone, and yeah, it's exciting when everyone is done that experience. We unfortunately didn't get to experience that this year, but just seeing everyone very happy and saying Eid Mubarak as the last thing of the day. Right, and then our Hajj, it is the 5th pillar of Islam. That's the last one that usually, if you do, if you're Muslim, you pray 5 times a day, you give zakah or, you know, charity, and then we fast on the 4th one is fasting in Ramadan, and then the last pillar of Islam is Hajj. So most of us who are lucky enough to get to do that go to Makkah and perform Hajj. Right, that's about it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me or anyone in here. I know most of us know a lot about Eid.
All right. Thank you, Hadia, for your beautiful presentation. And thank you for going over the history and the details on the festival. Now I'd like to pass it on to Naufal, who would be doing Kahoot, and he will start it up very soon.
Okay, thank you, Abhishek. So as you can see, the previous presentations about the history and the community side of the holiday. So we're gonna have a small Kahoot game to let's see how we learned so much in the past presentation. So let me share the Kahoot link. So everybody can join, even the speaker, because I'm sure the speaker knows a lot too. You can see, can you see my screen? Okay. So what you can do, you can go to your phone, go to kahoot.it, and then it'll put you straight to, I'm sure you guys have played Kahoot before, so you just have to put the pin. So do we have more players? Okay, we have 3 players. I'll wait until we have 5 players. Oh, it's maximum 3 players. Okay. So we can just gonna start this.
Wait, do you not see my name on the screen?
No, I think it's because it needs an upgrade. I think I use it too much already. So
Okay.
I'm sorry. I should have checked that before. Okay, so the first
That's okay,
question.
Naufal, no problem.
Yeah. Okay, 2 people got it right. So yeah, these two are the major holiday in Islam, even though we have Islamic New Year, but we mostly celebrate Eid al-Fitr, which is after fasting for 1 month, and Eid al-Adha, which is the feast of sacrifice. Okay, next question. What does Eid al-Adha translate to? If you notice Professor Abbas' presentation, it has a literal translation. Okay, everybody got it correct. It's the feast of sacrifice, like Professor Abbas said. Okay, next question. What countries are we going to present today? So if you notice our program and events, a program list, we have 3 countries that we'll present today. So which one are those countries? Okay, we have 3 answers, which is Malaysia, Pakistan, and Russia. But we're not gonna talk about Japan today. Is Eid al-Adha a big occasion for charity? Is it true or false? Yep, it's true. Like how Hadia explained, that it is also an occasion for charity. What do Muslims around the world do during Eid al-Adha? Do they perform their Eid prayers? Do they give charity? Do they perform pilgrimage, or do they visit their family members? Right, all answers are correct. So we do all of those things. Okay, last 2 questions. Where do Muslims go for the Hajj pilgrimage? I think Hadia and Professor Abbas mentioned about it. And which city do they go for their holy pilgrimage? Okay, the answer is Mecca. Like, I think everybody knows that. And last question, do Muslims have a feast with friends and family during Eid al-Adha? Yep, they all do. It's common in almost all traditions that we celebrate with friends and family. But since we only have 3 players, so there's only 3 spots. So first goes to, obviously it's Ayunni. So thank you Ayunni, Nauman, and Joseph for playing. I'm gonna stop my screen share and change it to another presentation. Okay, thank you guys for playing. So we're gonna continue on to the next presentation, which is by Ayunni. She's gonna explain about Malaysia.
Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, everyone. Okay, hello. My name is Ayunni again. So today I'll be representing Malaysia and tell you guys about how Malaysians celebrate Eid al-Adha. So, firstly, you want to know like what is Eid al-Adha? I think Professor Abbas and Hadia had tell you guys how is Eid al-Adha defined and what are those things that we celebrate during the Eid al-Adha, but I'm just gonna wrap this up really quickly. So Eid is meaning for feast, Adha is sacrifice. So when we brought it together, it means feast of sacrifice. And in Malay, we say Selamat Hari Raya Eid al-Adha. Selamat Hari Raya Eid al-Adha. I'm not sure if it's too hard for you guys to pronounce it, but that's how we pronounce it in Malaysia. So next slide. So this is basically tells you guys, okay, so I'm gonna tell you what are the highlights in Eid al-Adha in Malaysia. So firstly, Eid al-Adha is considered as a public holiday in Malaysia, which is usually government give us a week of holiday, and so that includes all people that are working in include school as well. So, but due to Corona, it has been shortened to 3 days to give the opportunity for the school to open classes earlier. And usually those living in urban areas like big cities in Kuala Lumpur will return to their hometown for the celebration. And usually that's how the traffic looks like in Malaysia, and it can go crazier than this. But that's basically how Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha looks like. And then at the night before celebration, I would always help my mother to prepare the food, and usually we have chicken rendang and also nasi impit. These dishes are like some traditions that we Malay have during Eid al-Fitr and also Eid al-Adha celebration. So chicken rendang is cooked with spices and also coconut milk. And it is very delicious and has a strong flavor, and it can sometimes be very spicy depending on how much you put the chili on it, in it. And then nasi impit is made of compressed rice, which we also enjoy it with satay and also peanut dipping sauce. And then the next morning, which is the day of Eid al-Adha, we would take a shower before we went to prayer, which is the 8 prayers. And after we're done with the prayers, we would go to our relatives' houses for greetings and of course eating again. We usually would wear tradition attire like baju kurung for females and baju Melayu for the males, like I'm wearing right now. Let me stand up. It's like, this is how it looks like, the baju kurung. It has commonly it has floral pattern on our clothes. And then later in late morning, which is close to afternoon, the actual sacrifice event occurred, which is the slaughtered event. So usually in Malaysia we would see cows that been slaughtered. I don't know who's been. You can turn the slides to the next one. Okay, another one. I think my Wi-Fi is very slow. Okay, so normally we would see cows that been slaughtered during this Eid al-Adha, and we would see that cow is being tied up, and then the slaughterman will start cutting by the vein on its neck to fasten the process and less painful for the animals. And it was helped with several men because I believe it is very hard to keep cows tasty while they're cutting the animals to into their organ parts. And then we will have a group of people who is responsible on dividing the meats into 3 parts, which is charity, relatives, and also family. Meanwhile, the women will cook the meat to eat together for later in the day and usually we would have daging goreng kunyit or turmeric beef in English. That is one of the common dishes that we can see during the Eid al-Adha celebration, which is on the left side is the beef turmeric, and on the right side we can see it's a beef soup, which is called soup daging in Malay. It is stewed with herbs and spices. And it also has a very aromatic smell when it was cooked. And it took about two, 2.5 hours to make it perfectly cooked. And I think that's it. That's pretty much how Malaysians celebrate in a day of Eid al-Adha. And I hope you enjoy and gain something beneficial from my presentation. Personally, I like Eid al-Adha and also Eid al-Fitr because this event bring people together no matter how far you are or where you are, and you make a good time out of it, and you gotta feel like home. And I hope you also feel like the same. So thank you, terima kasih, and selamat Hari Raya Eid al-Adha.
Thank you, Ayunni, and we definitely enjoyed that presentation. Now we have Naufal and Wendy that are going to do a Zoom polling for your presentation. And for those of you guys that didn't compete in the Kahoot, you have another one to compete for. So here we go.
All right, Ayunni, thank you so much for sharing. Malaysia is close to my heart, and it was so wonderful to see how Eid is celebrated there. So yeah, again, we're going to do some polling here about Eid al-Adha specifically in Malaysia. So hopefully you're paying attention. So
I loved your outfit, by the way.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I was talking to Ayunni. I loved her outfit.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, great. Can everybody see the poll here?
Yep, that's good.
Okay, so question number 1, and you can go ahead and just answer them as you're able. How do you say Happy Eid al-Adha in Malaysia? All right, I think we all got that correct. Is Eid al-Adha a national holiday in Malaysia? Yes or no? And question number 3, who would Malaysians typically visit during the Eid al-Adha holiday? Family, friends, neighbors, all of the above? And then question number 4, what would be the first thing Malaysian Muslims would do in the morning of Eid al-Adha? Feast with neighbors, pray together in a mosque, go out of town to visit family. So this is first thing in the morning. All right, does everybody have their votes in?
I think they do. It's 7 out of 7.
Yep.
Ayunni, do you want to tell the correct answers?
Yeah, I can do that. So for the first question, how do you say Happy Eid al-Adha in Malaysia? Is Selamat Hari Raya Eid al-Adha, which is majority of us got it right. And second question is Eid al-Adha a national holiday in Malaysia? Yes, it is. And most of us like it. And who would Malaysian typically visit during the Eid al-Adha holiday? Yes, it is true. All of the above: friends, family, neighbors, all of the people that you know or you might not know. It's a holiday where everyone could go and greet people. What would be the first thing Malaysian Muslims would do in the morning of Eid al-Adha? Yeah, we would go pray together in a mosque first, and then go and feast with the neighbors. Good job.
Thank you, Ayunni. It was a wonderful presentation. I hope you guys learn more about Malaysia itself as a country. And thank you, Wendy, for setting up the wonderful Zoom polling, because we didn't go well with the Kahoot at first. So we're just gonna continue to our next country. Okay, so we have Pakistan that will be presented by Nauman. So Nauman, you wanna start?
Yeah, sure. All right, thank you. So we're going to talk about Eid celebration in Pakistan. So next slide, please. Okay, so as you heard that the previous slides were talking about how a Muslim is supposed to do Eid. So now I'm going to talk about how a Pakistani person will do their Eid. So it's the same thing in most, but there's a little difference too. So normally the night before, a lot of people stay up all night because in Pakistan we really emphasize eating street food, And now it may have been different this year. So, but anyways, a lot of Pakistanis still do this. They stay up all night before the Eid prayer. Some sleep, but it's kind of mixed. The guys are playing outside. The females are talking to their friends and families. So normally the prayer starts at like 6 to 7 to 8 or to 9 a.m. That's the timing. Then you wake up and you do your sunnahs. Now, sunnahs are something you would do, such as what Hadia mentioned, like the change of directions, you eating certain amount of dates, and your outfit, and taking a shower. So once you wake up, you go to your local mosque. Now, this year was a bit different. Pakistan, even in Pakistan, because Pakistan is the top three Muslim country and top five populated country in the world with 220 million. You can imagine how strict it was to manage Eid prayer. Now this Eid was in end of July. So people were told to pray with a large space and avoid hugging. Some people still hug, you can't tell everyone how to follow the rules. And then people started to after the morning routines, they attend the prayers. And in the morning prayers, it normally takes 30 minutes. So the imam talks about like the imam gives us a short lecture, and in those short lecture is based on the stories of the prophets, such as Prophet Moses, Jesus, Abraham, and pretty much any prophet mentioned in the Quran. And then after the khutbah is done, Muslims will get up and hug. But this year it was kind of a mix, because there's a lot of people there. Some people took the situation serious, some people didn't. So at least for my family, my uncle avoided the hugging part. He just prayed and moved on. And then the kids would spend time with their friends. So next slide, please. Okay, so let's see. So in technically, there's a phrase that was happening in Pakistan. It's called COVID, with an Eid in the middle. So, Islam being one of the fastest growing religion, a lot of people were concerned about the coronavirus during the Eid prayer, because the one we had in May, no one attended the Eid prayer because it was supposed to be done at home. So this was like the first Eid prayer where you can pray, but you have to be distant or just wear a mask. And people in Pakistan too take a lot of things religiously, like seriously. So a lot of people thought coronavirus is a sign from God testing. So next slide, please. Here are some pictures. As you can see, a lot of females like to participate in an event called henna, where you design it on your hands. And a lot of females and even guys like to go shopping to the bazaar. A lot of people do take family photos. Like I said, normally a normal Eid prayer is about 30 minutes. And my sister, my mom always does the henna part. I like to take the photos because I like pictures, and I feel like pictures are something that are really important to keep for memory. So it's a lot of people are dressing nice too. So it's that one time you can wear nice, because in Islam, one of our sunnah is to dress nice. So why not dress nice on the day that's one of the biggest holiday in Islam? Next slide, please. So it is hard to show you exactly all types of clothing that is dressed on Eid because of how diverse the country is. So as you can see on the left, we have an image that says Colors of Pakistan. And beneath the animation of the picture, it's these are ethnic Pakistanis. So there are Punjabis, there are Pashtuns, Sindhi, Balochis, and Baharis, and the list goes on. So each ethnic has their own culture, their own language, and their own way of celebrating. but nonetheless, we're all Muslims in the end, because in Islam, we don't have a difference, you know, if we believe in one God. And as you can see on the right, that is the traditional men clothing. As you see in the previous slide, I was showing you how females wore. This is how a man would wear for his Eid prayer. Next slide, please. I already showed this one. Next, please. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed learning about Pakistan. So next one, please. Yeah, here. So thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed about Pakistan, and Pakistan welcomes you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nauman.
Thank
That was
you.
a beautiful presentation, and thank you for sharing what Pakistan and what they celebrate is different and similar to all the other countries as well. Next up, we have a short video of different languages and different cultures saying Eid Mubarak, and we have that shortly. Thank you.
Wish you happy Eid. Shabak hai Eid Mubarak. 祝大家开斋节快乐。Kuala Denisa Chumarkam Eid. Joyeux Eid. Fröhliche Eid Feiertage. आपको ईद मुबारक. Felice Eid. Selamat Hari Raya. आप सबको दिल से ईद मुबारक हो. अख्तार दे मुबारक शा. Spradsnikom Eid. Felice Eid. سكسان والإيد الفتاة. إيد بالغلار. وبكل لغات العالم نقول لكم عيدكم مبارك. عساكم من عوادة.
So that was the video of many different languages, many different cultures, all sharing the same celebration of Eid al-Adha. And now we have Naufal, my co-host, who would be presenting his side and his celebrations and what his country does for this celebration. And yeah, welcome, Naufal.
Thank you, Abhishek. So technically, this is not my country because I'm from Indonesia. But I was thinking, since I'm from Indonesia and Ayunni was explaining about Malaysia, it was a bit too similar. So I was trying to find something else that I experienced before, which is when I was living in Russia for a year. So as you can see, this is one of the biggest mosques in Russia. It's in Kazan or Tatarstan. It's a famous blue mosque in the middle of the city. And how is Eid al-Adha celebrated in Russia? So a bit background about Muslims in Russia. Even though Russia is a big country, but there's a significant population of Muslims in Russia. It's about 10% of the whole populations are Muslims. And the majority of those people are living in autonomous republics such as in Tatarstan, which is where Kazan is, like the picture before. And some of them are in Chechen and Dagestan and Adygea. And a lot of them also are Kazakh or from Kazakhstan that are living in Russia. So it's common to find mosques in bigger cities in Russia. So there's a lot of minority community that are living across Russia that are Muslims. As you can see here, it's the traditional clothes of Tatarstan. So Tatarstan is ethnicities inside Russia. So Russia is also diverse. They have about 100 plus ethnicities. And Tatarstan is actually closer to Turkish rather than to Russian, but they are inside of Russia. So in Russia, they usually say Kurban Bayram more instead of Eid al-Adha. I think it's a bit, it's similar to how Turkish would celebrate Eid al-Adha. So what we say in here, it's Sprasnikom Kurban Bayram, which is like Happy Kurban Bayram or Happy Eid al-Adha. And the cool thing is, like any holidays that are in Russia, people usually send out electronic e-cards through WhatsApp or through their messages, and they are something like unique and funny, and like this one. Like there's a lot. Like even my Russian mom always send me one like every Eid al-Fitr or Eid al-Adha. So my personal experience was I was living in Kostroma, which is a 5 hour from Moscow. That it's a region that has a Russian population or Caucasian population, about 96%, I believe, or even 96% Caucasian. So and there's only less than 1% Muslim populations. But the cool thing is about the region, they are tolerable and they are accepting a lot of communities. So like not long before they were building like this mosque, which is like 3-story size high, and it's pretty big for a region that doesn't have a significant Muslim populations. And when Eid al-Adha comes, the people will also join here, like in this picture. This is the inside of the mosque. Like a lot of people would join and join the sermon or the sermon before the Eid. And this and why Russia is really tolerable, because even in Russia they have their mufti or a religious leader. So there's a religious Muslim leader titled Mufti, and they have a good connection with the Russian government. It's like you can see Putin here. They both are sitting down, discussing how maybe how the holiday should have begun in Russia. And some of the special dishes that I found in Russia, even though I didn't make a lot of it, I did experience having a Russian feast with a Muslim community in Kostroma. Even though my family was Christian Orthodox, but I was able to visit local community Muslims, and some of the famous dishes are, first is pilaf or pilaf. It's similar to biryani, I believe, but it's a version more northern, such as in Tajikistan or Kazakhstan. You can see here, it's a dish with rice cooked with stock and adding spices, and also vegetable and meat. And because of its Eid al-Adha, people usually use lamb, because I think lamb is more common there to be in the holiday instead of beef in Russia. And the next thing is shalom, or it's a kind of soup that make out of lamb, heads and shank. You can see here different parts of lamb. And people usually eat this with rice, or you can see here the black bread. It's a special bread in the region. It's made of, I think it's made out of rye wheat, like the black wheat. And then the one of the specialty of Tatarstan, or the special region in Russia, is called chachak. Chak is this feels like a rice crispy, but it doesn't made out of rice. I think it's made out of wheat. And how to describe it is it's like Rice Krispies, but it is glazed with honey instead of sugar or something else. So it is really good when drinking with tea. And also, fun fact about Russia itself, people drink a lot of tea. They probably drink like 8 times a day at least, because I don't know, they just love tea that much, and they don't usually use sugar in their tea. So they have a lot of tea time. And and basically the essence of Eid al-Adha and in any region, not just Russia, is about not just about having faith, but it's all about caring the community around you and being the closest one, and even the friends in the community. Even though there's a lot of minority communities there, but they're still sticking together and getting the best out of their holidays. So what we say is Sprasnikam Kurban Better. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you, Naufal. And this presentation and many of your guys' presentation also made me realize from my birthplace of Hyderabad, India, where Eid al-Adha is also celebrated. And during these times in India, marketplaces are shut down, roads are closed, and people are just celebrating and doing whatever they need to do these celebrations. And yeah, all these presentations made me realize of my birthplace too. And although I'm not from that background, I also that just made me realize and exposed to more of what they are doing those days and what they're celebrating. So thank you, Naufal. Thank you, all the guest speakers. And right now, we would like to open the floor up for a question and answer session that any of you guys have regarding this celebrations or any other presentations.
Sorry, Abhishek, I forgot to show a short video of how it looks like in Russia.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna show like for 1 minute.
Любой человек сам должен ислам понимать, сам по себе. Какой бы он ни был, вера, она есть вера. И раньше кому...
Это сегодня Курбан Байрам, что был бы у всех мусульманов радость дома, счастье, что было дети, что выросли хорошие, там, семья была.
So as you can see, it's not always like this. It's not always like snowing and winter every day, but in some days, yeah. So you can see like in Malaysia or Pakistan, people are praying outside in the field, and this is a different region, so it's different climate. So for sometimes maybe it could snow like hard like that, but if the mosque fit, people usually pray inside. You can see how people pray. And then after praying, you can see in the video early on that people are congregating or meeting their friends after the prayers and just having a small talk, which is really nice. And also this guy said that the holiday is mostly about being grateful, being wonderful, having a wonderful family, and yeah, just basically being grateful to everything they have. That's why it's all about charity, it's all about community. So even though it's different regions in Pakistan, Malaysia, and Russia, but it's just one essence. It's the same story that people are having the holiday of Eid al-Adha. So yeah. So any questions? You can ask people I'm sure most of you already know about Eid al-Adha, so you can ask about culturally specific, like Nauman, you can ask about Malaysia more, or even Ayunni asked about Pakistan more.
I actually had a question. Hadia, if you're there, my question came up during your presentation. You had mentioned that it's important to take 2 different routes to and from your Eid prayer in the morning, and I was just curious what the significance of that is.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's to like get more rewards or like, good deeds, because usually you walk to the mosque. So like to walk from one way and then come back from another is just mostly when we the main, basic definition is when you walk to mosque, every step you take, you get rewards, or like, you get good deeds because you're walking towards the house of God. So like to do that from the different routes is just, to get more rewards. Usually, nowadays it's kind of difficult because we drive to our mosques most of the times. So it's like we don't even walk. But I think even driving and all that, you still just to get more rewards, you go from different routes.
Mm-hmm. All right, great. Thanks, Hadia. And like Naufal said, if most of us are familiar with the holiday already, maybe asking culturally specific questions. I think this is a unique opportunity to do that because we have several different countries represented here. And yeah, I don't know if any of you have ever celebrated Eid in a different culture than your own, or if you had insight from that or had questions about it, but this is a good time.
One of the things I kind of learned was how similar everything is. It's kind of it's like say Russia. Like I was born in Afghanistan, so I've seen how they celebrated there. So to like see how we all have kind of like different similar cultures and we celebrated the same ways. Kind of it is fascinating. We're so different yet so similar. Like he was talking about the Russian food, Pelov. We have the same things. It's kind of like it's amazing how different we live in different parts of the world, but we kind of have things in common. So that's what I kind of observed, and it's just amazing.
I have a question to Nauman about Pakistan. So I know you've been living in the US for quite some time. And how do you see the differences between celebrating Eid in the US instead of, and also Pakistan? Like how different would it be?
I haven't celebrated. Okay, so so right now my age is 20, and I haven't celebrated in like 15 or 14, 16 years in Pakistan. So back then, even I mean, it's not like I can remember anything from 2004 or 5, but I'm sure there wasn't like like nice phones. It was just probably like those cameras and stuff they use. There wasn't like Facebook, social media back then. So that's just from if how my family used to celebrate. As like that time I was a kid, so I would get a lot of money, and I do remember I used to get really upset when we had to slaughter the animal. Like I had a friend for 2 weeks, and now he's gone. And then um today it's at this time of the at this age, I kind of do miss that, because I feel like when you're not in a Muslim country, you kind of miss that connection, because in America it's really short. It's like you're like, well, it'd be nice to have a longer celebration, just like how your Christian and Jewish friends celebrate, but over here you're done in like 20 minutes, and there's like not much to do here. That's it. I mean, I just wish there was more to do, but there's not many Muslims here. So I kind of feel like I wish there was. But then, here's how I cope it. I get the point, like in Islam, it tells us to never think too bad about this, because, and end of the day, Islam wants to preach the concept of think good, because, you are giving food while some people don't even have that food. So you're doing the good thing in the end. Like, I had the food. I don't need to eat the food that we slaughtered the animal so others can eat. So that's how I think. I don't have a reason to compare what I don't have.
Okay, thank you, Norman. Yeah, I think it relates to me a lot. I see a lot of differences between celebrating it in a minority country or a majority country. If it's like a majority, like let's say Indonesia or Pakistan, it seems like we just cherish how our family are here, how our community are here, and probably celebrate a bit longer. But I think the good side of living in a minority country like USA or even Russia, I just feel more, I just see more identity of being a Muslim and being proud of it, It just like, it just feels like, oh, I'm different. And I think I should cherish that, and I should teach people that I do have this culture. And I feel a lot of growth in that.
I agree, because that is one thing that I do like. I live in Carlisle, so the mosque is not really Pakistani. It's really Northern African. So it's not just the Pakistani Eid, but it actually is the true Islamic Eid. Because in Islam, we have to celebrate Eid of every background. So it's not just one ethnic group in that mosque. It's my mosque is predominantly Northern Africans, but we have Bosnians, we have converts, and we do have South Asians. So I like the diversity in my mosque.
Mm. Yeah, I always wanted to visit the Bosnian mosque in Carlisle.
Yeah,
They
two of them.
also they have good food. Sorry, Wendy, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just had a follow-up question for Nauman. Nauman, you had mentioned like getting the animal in advance before the holiday, and you kind of get attached to it, but then it's sacrificed as part of the celebration. Is that intentional to I don't know, create some sentiment or significance for the holiday, or?
I don't personally. I think it's more of you just want to buy it soon before it gets sold out. I think it's because that's the thing. We don't sacrifice. I know a lot. Well, at least I know my family. We don't sacrifice animal here. We do it in Pakistan. So we get my family to do that. So, but I know there's a local farm in Pennsylvania, and my Bosnian friend goes there and they sacrifice in Pennsylvania. So it just depends. We just and plus I'm from a farm area too, so it depends. Like I can get the goat anywhere from my area.
Yeah, most of the time, I mean, in like Muslim countries, it's because it gets more expensive, and the closer it gets to eat, so you just want to get it in advance, so you don't have to like pay a lot for it. And also, just because sometimes they run out, so you just want to have it just to make sure that you're gonna have an animal to sacrifice on the day of Eid.
So we have a question in the chat too from Fahad. He says, I have an off-topic question, if you may allow me. Is there a place to pray in the campus? So thanks for that question, Fahad.
Thank you, Fahad. I'll give this question to our MSA president, Hadia, if you want to answer it.
Yes, there is a prayer room in EC. So if you go there, it's on the second floor. Right now it is locked. I was gonna send an email to Donna, or I don't know, talk to someone on campus, because we could still pray individually. We don't have to like do Jumu'ah prayer and stuff like that. We weren't gonna do that anyways because of everything that's going on. But I wasn't sure why it's locked right now, because we still have on-campus classes, and there are times that we have to pray on campus. I was gonna try to get an answer for that, but yeah, there is a place. It's in the Student Enrichment Center on the second floor.
Please talk to Donna, and if we have any problems getting it unlocked, let me know. We'll get it unlocked for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for asking that question, Fahad. That's a great topic. That was not off topic at all, so we appreciate it. Thanks for being here, Dr. Clark. I guess I just had one more question maybe before we end, unless anybody else has one. And feel free to put it in the chat or unmute yourself if you have one last question. All right, I guess I'm just curious about the Eid. So Professor Abbas had mentioned like a little gift that is given to kids. Usually it's money, but I'm wondering, is it ever different than money? And also, to what age does that stop? Like, will you guys still receive things from your parents even though you're adults now, or does that end at some time?
At least for me, it depends. So here's a good perspective. Sometimes a person can, it's kind of deep thinking here, but you see, sometimes someone may have $10 in total, but they gave you that $5, and that's all they have. So they kind of gave you. Does that make sense? I have a hard time putting this in the sentence, but like, if someone has 10, but they give you 5, that's 50% of their money. That's a lot for them. So, for me, I try to think of this way. When I get a money, I'm not gonna be like, oh, this person gave me 100, this one gave me 50. You know, in the end, I got something, right? So I still get money. I do get a little. I tell my sister, you know, I'm getting old, so I hope I keep getting, because I don't want it to stop. I mean, why not? It's just because I used to get a lot more, and it's the most I got one time was 1,000, but then the average I get is 300, and now I get like 100. So it's kind of decreasing. So that's and then I don't think it matters. It's just how many people you meet.
Yeah, most of the time it is money. Right now, the older you get, yeah, it stops. It stops at some point. You don't get it all the time, unfortunately. But it's mostly money. It's mostly when people come to your house or you go to someone's house, they just give you money. And kids get very excited about it. My baby sister, she's 4. She loves it. I don't get as much anymore, but it's okay.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, I think in Indonesia and Malaysia, they have similar traditions too. But in Indonesia, it's called angpao. So I think it's derived from from Chinese culture, like the Ang Pao culture. Like they give an envelope of money, but
Uh-huh.
instead of having it like a Chinese New Year theme, it has an Eid al-Adha theme. So you hide the money inside the envelope.
Ah,
So yeah, I think in Malaysia and Indonesia, and of course it's for children. It's usually for children, not for
I
like
think all
adults.
of us now reach the point that we supposed to give EID to children or to others, so we didn't receive anymore.
Okay. Is there anyone else wants to ask questions? If not, I guess we're gonna close this Eid al-Adha virtual celebration. So thank you so much for everyone for coming, especially our speakers, Ayunni, Nauman, Dr. Abbas, and thank you, Wendy, for facilitating us. And also thank you, our host, Abhishek. You did a great job hosting your first event. And thank you for all the audience that shows enthusiasm and went with us the whole presentation. Okay, thank you so much. You guys are free to go.
thank you all so much.
Thank
Have a great
you.
day. It was great to have you all here.
I hope you guys learned a lot. Thank you.